Hello guys, this is the first video where you actually see me, not only my screen with time-lapse and sarcastic captions. Just trying a new format, let's see how it goes. As you know, I spent the last 3 years working on my first game, Ninja Resurrection, aka the hardest fighting game. 11 Steam reviews. Popularity? This game is basically built on animation. I made more than 800 animations for it. Let's check. 836 items. Crazy number, right? And here's the fun part. Only after finishing the game I discovered the so-called 12 principles of animation. Some of them are useful, sure, but some are just obvious stuff, like this, maybe this. Honestly, I didn't feel like learning a bunch of rules that tell me how am I supposed to animate. My animations, my rules, that's it. I watched a couple of tutorials on cascadeur, then just started pushing buttons, mostly going by instinct. Out of curiosity, yesterday I tried to count how many principles from that famous list I can name by memory, and I came up with 4.5. Yep. But recently I realized I have been unconsciously using something like a 13th principle for years. I double checked the list, and nope, it's not there. This isn't a clickbait, it's a real principle that actually helps me make better animations. I call it static first. What does it mean? Animating a high action scene usually comes down to 2 segment types. First, static segments, poses that barely change. Second, dynamic or transition segments. Fast movement, sweeping actions, stuff your eye mostly doesn't register. Here's the key. The viewer's eye notices and remembers the static segments, not the transitions. So the principle is simple. Put the maximum effort into your static segments, make them memorable, readable, strong. The dynamic parts, make them smooth as fuck, but don't sweat it. Let me explain. Frame 1, frame 2, and frame 3. Did you notice anything between them? Okay, it's a joke, but you get the point. Now let's take a look at this clumsy animation of mine. An upward kick. Can you see the mistakes? I left them here on purpose. See? If you said the leg looks twisted here, you're correct. And the reason you spotted it is because it happens in a static segment. But what if I tell you there are actually 3 more broken frames? Right here, then here, and of course you missed this frame. What the fuck is this? You saw them every time, but your brain just ignored them, because that's a dynamic segment. And that's why this animation looks okay in motion, but completely breaks if you watch it in slow-mo. So we've got 2 static moments here, start and end. And I remember I spent a lot of time polishing the knee position, right here. For me, as a beginner, that was a pretty solid result. Now let's jump to another animation. This one has no obvious mistakes. But look at the middle. The spine bends in a super awkward way. You don't notice it in motion because again, dynamic segment. Now let's look at something I did last week, a remake of someone else's animation. This is the finishing combo attack, so it starts with a long dynamic motion. Just a smooth rotation, nothing special. Then comes the static moment, where the character holds the sword and rests after the attack. This frame. That's the pose that matters. The animation ends slowly, so the rest of it can be considered static as well. And for the last part, let's talk about mocap. Since Cascadeur's motion capture kinda sucks, let's switch to quickmagic AI for a second. Import, select this, next, generate, check the animation, download, extract, import, open, and we've got an excellent mocap to work with. Personally, I don't like mocap in games, because it's usually a one-to-one copy of reality, and when you bring reality straight into animation, it's meh. See my previous video for details. In terms of the 13th principle, raw mocap is basically 100% static, it has no life. But if you speed up certain moments and turn them into dynamic segments, suddenly it becomes a good animation, something you'd actually want to rewatch. Time-lapse is boring, isn't it? Let's just enjoy the finished animation that I can use in the upcoming game. Now let's link the scenes for a comparison. This is the 13th principle, static first, dynamic second. Focus where it matters. So yeah, if you get what I'm talking about, great. Or maybe it's all just bullshit. That's for you to decide. See ya! Like and subscribe if you want more.